Red Bull just dropped a massive upgrade package on the first day of the second Bahrain test, and it's clear they're done playing it safe. After proving their brand new forward power unit is bulletproof with incredible reliability across the first week of testing, Red Bull's head of aerodynamics, Enrico Balbo, has gone aggressive with a complete redesign of the sidepods, a new front wing, and multiple aerodynamic tweaks aimed at significantly slashing drag. Technical director Pierre Wachet said the time is right to start seeking performance now that reliability has been proven. This is Red Bull saying they're ready to fight Mercedes, McLaren, and Ferrari for the 2026 championship. Let's start with the headline upgrade. Red Bull brought completely redesigned sidepods to Bahrain on Wednesday, February 19th, and according to motorsport.com, they've significantly reduced the drag on the RB22. In the first week of testing in Sakhir, the car was presented with a side completely without an undercut below the radiator mouth, which was a very conservative choice, evidently to verify the reliability of the new RB22 power unit. But now that Red Bull is convinced of that reliability, they've moved on to the next phase of testing, focused on optimizing the package and extracting performance. The new sidepods that Isaac Hadjar used on Wednesday are the work of Enrico Balbo and his aerodynamics team. Red Bull had initially chosen not to incorporate an undercut for their launch design, but the new sidepods are much slimmer. Balbo has been aggressive with their aerodynamic project, as he believes Red Bull's engine reliability showed they can have smaller sidepods. The upper element is largely the same as before, but Red Bull have reshaped the lower section to significantly slash the RB22's drag. But the sidepods weren't the only upgrade. Red Bull unveiled a new front wing when Hadjar hit the track on Wednesday. Several changes were also made to the winglets on the sidepods of the engine air intake, with additional ones also placed on the sides of the rear crash structure. These are small aerodynamic tweaks designed to work together with the new sidepod design to optimize airflow across the entire car. Here's the fascinating part. Hadjar actually had a terrible start to Wednesday's running. He spent most of the morning sitting on the Red Bull hospitality terrace in his civilian clothes while the team fixed an undisclosed issue. But Red Bull did a superb job to get him back out just before the lunch break. And here's where it gets interesting. Red Bull stuck with the new sidepods throughout Hadjar's troubled day, which suggests they have a lot of confidence in this upgrade package. Balbo and Wachet are expected to continue designing further aerodynamic upgrades for the RB22. The aggressive upgrade strategy makes sense when you look at Red Bull's reliability numbers. Max Verstappen completed a whopping 136 laps on day one of the first Bahrain test, the highest lap count of any driver. That's 22 laps beyond a double race distance at Bahrain. In all, Verstappen worked his way to a total distance of 736.032 kilometers, about the distance from Milton Keynes to the Nürburgring. The Red Bull Ford powertrain's DM1 power unit has run remarkably reliably on debut, completing over 623 laps between the two Red Bull-owned teams in the first week. Verstappen was clearly impressed with the new power unit. He said, "It's of course amazing to see that. A new manufacturer coming in and it's running so well." He described Red Bull Ford powertrains as, "still a completely new project compared to others. So there is so much to keep learning and figuring out ahead of the first race." He explained, "They went through a lot of testing procedures that might run into during a race weekend," noting that this might be more straightforward for a power unit manufacturer that has been in the game a long time, but when you are new, you need to test it all. Several well-placed sources across the paddock reckon Red Bull have reacted very well to the new regulations and may well be the benchmark. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff admitted he was hoping Red Bull would be worse than they are, saying they have done a very good job and that the car and power unit are the benchmark at the moment. But there's a caveat to all this. The new upgrades are making the car more difficult to drive, especially when it comes to energy recovery. Hadjar initially struggled to copy Verstappen's energy recovery tricks, especially through the tricky downhill left-hand turn 10 and the left-handed turn 11. Verstappen was the first driver to adopt aggressive downshifts to recover energy during the first Bahrain test, along with using lower gears in the corners. While Verstappen's ways of recovering energy made the rear of the RB22 more nervous, he could still control the car. By the end of Wednesday, Hadjar was gradually starting to control the slides. But it's clear, these 2026 cars require a completely different driving style. The timing of these upgrades is critical. Red Bull is now entering the performance phase of testing, having spent the first week validating reliability. Other teams, like Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren, are still sorting out basic issues. Ferrari brought their own sensational flip-wing upgrade on the same day. Mercedes had engine problems that limited Kimi Antonelli to just 3 laps in the morning session, and Aston Martin continues to struggle with their Honda power unit. Max Verstappen is due to drive the upgraded RB22 all day on Thursday, February 20th, which will give Red Bull a full day of data on how the new package performs with their lead driver. Verstappen's feedback will be crucial in determining whether Red Bull continues down this aggressive aerodynamic path, or makes further adjustments before the season opener in Melbourne on March 6 to 8. Here's the big picture. Red Bull came into 2026 with massive question marks. They're running their first ever in-house power unit, developed with Ford. Nobody knew if it would work. But after proving incredible reliability in the first week of testing, Red Bull is now pushing hard on performance. The new SIDEPODs significantly reduce drag. The new front wing optimizes downforce. And the additional aerodynamic tweaks across the car suggest Red Bull's aerodynamicists are exploiting every opportunity in these new regulations. Verstappen may have publicly criticized the 2026 regulations, calling them Formula E on steroids, and saying the cars aren't fun to drive. But that hasn't stopped Red Bull from building what multiple paddock sources believe is the benchmark car. The combination of a bulletproof power unit and aggressive aerodynamic development could make Red Bull the team to beat in 2026. So there you have it. Red Bull dropped a massive upgrade package on February 19th, featuring redesigned SIDEPODs, a new front wing, and multiple aerodynamic tweaks aimed at significantly reducing drag. After proving reliability with their new Ford power unit, they're now in the performance phase of development. Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren better watch out because Red Bull is coming for them. What do you think? Can Red Bull's aggressive upgrade strategy pay off? Or are they pushing too hard, too soon? Drop your predictions in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more F1 news. I'll catch you in the next one.